share a couple of stories who think that the highlight of their life was high school or college or maybe somewhere in their career. And we don't want that to be you. We want you to wake up knowing each day, hey, the best is still to come, because that's the truth. And it can be. My very special guest today is Linda St. Pé Copeland, and she is born and raised outside of New Orleans, very proud of her French heritage. She began in ministry in the 1980s. Woo! Who remembers that? In children's ministry with just a small local church, and went on to work in partnership with Kids Power International, which reaches thousands of kids. So a great lesson to all of us not to despise the day of small beginnings. Even though she recently retired, she still serves as a curriculum consultant for Kids Power International. Prior to retirement, she was a child abuse prevention specialist with the local county government, an advocate for victims of domestic violence and those who've been victims of sex trafficking. She's an ordained minister. She's a lay counselor. She's a certified DISC facilitator that helps you understand your personality and your gifts. She's also a certified life coach. She's the founder of her own coaching and consulting business. She's married, has 2 kids. They're married. They've produced that most important of all things, 3 grandkids. I'm jealous. She lives with her husband in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Please welcome Linda.
Hey, everybody. Oh my gosh, my heart is absolutely full. Thank you so much for taking an hour of your time to come and to be with us. And I tell you, it means a lot to me. Thank you very, very much.
Well, it's been so fun to work with you, Linda. You know, you're really a true professional. And I know you've worked most of your life in the nonprofit sector and have given your life to service and making a difference in the world. You've been such a joy to work with. You're like a dream client. And it's been absolute fun from the first day we met. And this whole process of helping you clarify what your message for the world was. And you're just a true kindred spirit. And all I can say is, let's go Morocco. I finally met somebody else who wants to go to Morocco, and you can practice your French there. Hey, so you've got a brand new book out, and we're actually going to, there's nothing for sale. Everybody just heave a great sigh of relief. So many of these webinars, it's like the whole thing is to try. We're not selling anything. There's nothing for sale. Okay. Yes. The only thing we're here to tell you about is a brand new book, and you can get it for free. It's available for free today and tomorrow. If you're joining us live, April 29th and 30th of 2021. There's nothing for sale. We just want to bless you with this message that the rest of your years can be the best of your years. You can go ahead and grab that book. If you're excited, you can go to donnaparteau.com/925. That's the number 9, the word 2, and the number 5. donnaparteau.com/925. I'll take you right to Amazon where you can get your copy. Kindle version is absolutely free. So Linda, let's begin at the beginning. What's the kind of the number one frustration that people have when they think about retiring or when they get into the retirement years? What's the number one kind of pain point frustration that you see?
Yeah, for me, and I'm sure it is for lots of individuals who retire after 30, 40-year careers, is what do you do with the new 9 to 5? What do you do when you get up in the morning? And how does your day look? I mean, you arranged everything. All parts of your life were arranged around a 9 to 5 work week. Now you no longer have that. So how do you move forward into a new 9 to 5?
I remember just as we were talking about this, and you knew that God had called you to write, and it was one of your dreams, and it was a dream that had been on hold because you were working in the nonprofit sector and helping people and serving people and putting others first. And then you came into a season where you were able to pursue your dream. And I know you're going to talk more about that. And You shared a hilarious story with me, and I know you share it in the book about your the first thing you did after you retired, and suddenly you're like, "What do I do with my time?" Why don't you tell us that story? It's kind of fun.
Okay, so leave the job on Friday, weekend normal. I was accustomed to weekends, but Monday morning, I'm totally lost. I'm discombobulated. I don't know what to do with myself. And I immediately started ruminating about what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I decided that I would go and buy some plants, flowers. I would go to the nursery, the plant nursery, and I would buy random things because I'm not a gardener, but I felt like I just had to take control of something, just do something productive. First day, my husband says, "Are you sure
Oh
you don't
no.
want to relax today?" And I'm like, "No, no, no. I've got a blank space out there. It needs me." Okay. Because that's what I was accustomed to. I was accustomed to waking up and being an advocate to someone. So I ran out, got all these plants random, and I really wanted a butterfly garden and I wanted to see hummingbird. But when I looked over this random garden, I was like, I don't even know if anything will grow here. So uh, I started thinking about what exactly were you thinking about when you planted this garden? And it dawned on me. I had this aha moment. Well, I guess I was an employee for 30 plus years and people were counting on me, and I didn't know what to do with myself if no one was counting on me. So that started the whole ball rolling about the new 9 to 5. Like, what do I want that to look like? And then start planning. And just, Donna, if I could say this, just this morning, I was going through my journal and I realized all of the fear that people experience, and I experienced it as they're going into some unknown territory. Like you're going into something totally brand new and you don't even know how to act in that space. So that's what started the book and how I could help other women. I looked and looked, and there was a lot about financial planning, but not a lot about emotional planning.
By the way, I
So,
should ask you, how were your muscles after you suddenly spent the first day diving into physical work?
oh,
Did you finally
no,
realize you had muscles you didn't know you had?
oh, I hurt in places that I didn't know I had, and I had to soak in Epsom salt. I was so sore from that whole ordeal. And that's what got me on thinking about, hey, what exactly were you thinking the first day of retirement? So,
Gotta fill that day, gotta keep busy. So is this idea of like what to do? Of course, I guess the 9 to 5 itself is kind of a new thing, but like how to fill your days, this idea of retirement. I mean, we don't see the word retirement in the Bible. I mean, we're both Christians. I think I mentioned that you're an ordained ministry and a lay counselor in your church. Um, so we don't see that word retirement. And but is that, I think it's kind of a new thing, right? Where it's like you have a career, something that you do, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and nobody expects you to do anything. You're just kind of, in a way, you can almost feel like you've been set aside. That's why I think it's really significant. You said, well, that empty part in my yard needs me. So somebody must, something still needs me. Is this
absolutely.
kind of, it's kind of a new thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking about this yesterday when I was walking the Greenway, and I said, really, it's like, all of us have really good vacations. Most of the time, our vacations are, oh, just so point right on. But every 10 years, maybe you get a vacation that is stressful for whatever reason. And then you have to go home and decompress. Well, that's kind of what retirement feels like. It's like you you have to go home and you have to decompress from some life that you lived and now looks totally different. And it's joyful, but yet at the same time, there's a lot of things that you're working through.
Of course, I have a little bit of a different world that I'm in because I've been self-employed. But I can remember getting laid off from my job. I had a 9 to 5. Really, it was probably more of a 5 to 9 kind of a job in banking. And we were all laid off with 1 hour notice. And I definitely know that a lot of people went through that of like, okay, well, what do I do now? And this idea, and I think the other factor too, Linda, is what's new here is that people didn't live as long as they do now. When you think about when I know I've read this somewhere. I've been reading a lot of retirement books myself because I turned 60 in a few months. But they talk about when the social security system in the United States was developed, life expectancy was around 65. You weren't supposed to be living another,
Yeah.
30, 40 years. But from the time you retired, it was like the countdown was on for you to finish your race here on earth. And I think one of the things that's really different now is that if we retire at, 62, 65, whatever, and we take decent care of ourselves, we can fully expect to have a good another 20, 30, I don't know, 40 years
Yes.
on this earth to do something with. And so I think that that's one of the things that have changed. And of course, there's the mobility. I think maybe on the downside, we don't have a huge extended, you think of Abraham at the end of his life, he had like a million relatives around him.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and we don't anymore. Maybe you've got 2 kids, you've got 3 grandkids, I've got 2 kids, no grandkids. Not that I'm jealous, I am. So it's different. We don't have that level of, we don't have this huge massive tribe around us. And in a way that could be a downside, but it's also a unique opportunity in history for us to reinvent ourselves. And post COVID, we can actually go some places, like have a bucket list and go and go and go pursue it. What are some issues you think that people are facing in retirement that maybe, back in those days when it was kind of prescribed for them, they knew what the path had to look like? What are some of those new challenges? And then maybe next we could talk about some of the new opportunities.
Yes. So as you were talking, I was thinking about my 92-year-old dad, and he's very, very active. He's the life of the party wherever he goes. But just recently, at 92, he asked me to pray for him that he would find his purpose. So I think that is part of what you're saying, is like we're living longer and there's still so much more to do. There's so much more to experience. There's so much more to give. And that, finding that place where you can align yourself with your purpose. And that's where my dad was at 92.
Wow.
Like he's done this, and but what is the plan now at 92? So we keep developing, we keep growing. And that is the huge challenge, is what do we do to keep growing in our lives and keep challenging ourselves?
And I think
So
that's the key point, because if we don't, we can go downhill pretty quick. And I
we
think
all know people who, yeah,
I wrote the
exactly.
foreword to your book, and I shared about someone very close to me who had a 9 to 5 job, a lot of pressure, worked in, downtown, left her home in the suburbs, took the train downtown every day. I mean, worked for the same law firm for, I think, 35 years. And she was going to do, after she retired, she was going to go here and she was going to go there and she was going to do these other things. And within 6 months of retiring, she was diagnosed with lymphoma and spent her remaining years battling that. And it's kind of, we've all heard that example of someone that, they've put off all their dreams, and then they get to retirement and it's like an instant health crisis. And we could, anyway, that's kind of beyond the scope of what we want to talk about. But I think being intentional, if you're not retired yet, and saying, okay, how can I be really proactive to make sure that number one, when I get there, I can be enjoying my health. So if we have anybody who's not at retirement yet, I'm thinking about that. In fact, I just have shared with some friends, hold me accountable. I gotta make sure that my health stays strong. And that's, one of the areas that you talk about. And then as we get closer to that, really having a solid plan, not just some pipe dreams, but having a plan of how our life is going to be meaningful, and what our days are going to look like, because we see people that just, they deteriorate and, spend all day playing Candy Crush or staring at the TV and watching Judge Judy. And, it's not the best of their years. It's kind of like drifting sadly into the sunset, right? I mean, if we're not
Yeah.
intentional, right?
Yes.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, that's so true. And, that's one of the things that was in my heart is like, okay, I've reached a point where I know I have to let go of what was. But I think the scary part is, what am I going to hold on to in the future? It's all unknown. And none of us like the unknown. We like plans. And so that is the whole point of the 9 to 5 template, like looking at your life and saying, okay, how do I want my future to look? What do I want it to look like? How do I want to live the rest of my time? And maybe you just want to do the first 5 or 10 years, and then you want to regroup and do, and however, it's customizable, because that's what I say, that no two retirement journeys are the same. We all have different paths, and we're all unique. And so we're moving at different paces. But I think having a plan, being intentional, is just what I keep saying on my Facebook page. And I said this to my dad. I said, Dad, I went from resignation to publication. And he said, no, you didn't. You went from resignation to determination to publication. And
Nice.
so it's having that determination and knowing what you want your life to look like, and then going after it with no guts, no glory, right? Like just going for it
And every day. And I think that's the key,
every day.
because you can have, like I shared about, like, I'm going to, hey, I'm going to woo this tree and that tree and bucket list. But it's how we live every day.
Yes.
And that's what I love about your book, by the way, your book. And I should be holding it up. Why am I not holding up my copy of your book? Donna, you're slipping. Donna, woo! How
I
do
need you to hold it up. Otherwise, I would have had a copy.
After the 9 to 5, how to enjoy the best days of your life. And that's what I like here. I've been devouring retirement books. I will just admit it. I'm devouring them. That number 660, anything with a 6, I'm like, woo, I'm going to retire. What's going on here? What's this going to look like? And what I love about this is that it's the best days, and not years, days, because every day, if you make every day a great day, and every day has purpose and meaning, and every day is moving you forward, that's why I love it. Was so funny as the design contest was going away, there were pictures of hammocks, like what's your
Palm
time
trees.
going on, and you really felt in your heart that you love this picture of the sunrise, because it is, guys, it's what you do daily. When you wake up, how do you want to fill your days? And I love this book. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. It's beautiful. Your heart is beautiful. I love you. Let's go to Morocco. So I do want to think about big, me, I'm like, bucket list post-COVID, can't wait. But it really is how we live every day. And it makes me sad, because I know people that I love, and they're retired, and they spent their retirement years, just plopped in front of a TV, and, maybe once a week their grandkids came over. It's like, really?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
And
I
so,
think we I think we all know people like that, but you
So what
know,
was the missing piece as you've read other, and I think I probably gave it away, but if you're like me and you've read a million retirement books, what you saw a missing piece. Why don't you just talk
I
about
saw the missing piece. The missing piece was a template. It was a new 9 to 5 lifestyle template. Like how am I going to organize all of this time freedom that I now have? And it for me, I I'm a procrastinator sometimes. Ooh, I know I do. And so I wanted to literally arrest that in my life. I didn't want to be a procrastinator. The years that I had spent, well, the years that I had, let me say this, the years that I was looking forward to were less than the years I had just spent. So I had to make everything count if I wanted to go after the big dreams in my heart. So I designed this template where you could literally schedule. The first thing I did, the first 30 days, I scheduled what I call sacred space
nice.
because I felt like it was important for me to just get in touch with me. Just who am I? What do I want? How do I want to move forward? So I did fun things for the first 30 days. I just did everything fun or things that I love to do, like planning meals and shopping and kayaking, and I mean all of these fun things for the first 30 days. And then after that, I was like, okay, it's time to get back to being productive. But I didn't realize all of those things were making me productive. I was moving in a direction from my heart. And that's what I loved about retirement is now I could make decisions from my heart, not necessarily for money or raises or accolades, but I could move forward to a place deep, the deep longings in my heart. And that's why I put the 9 to 5 template in place, because I wanted to be very purposeful about doing that.
Well, if you think of this, life as a journey, it's one step at a time, it's one day at a time. And so I guess we can paint the picture, right? So if this is a journey, and the journey and the destination is to, get in the promised land. So the promised land, I guess, is to come to the end of your life and say, wow, um, I really did everything God put on my heart to do, to have, to be. How do we get there? So this book is kind of the journey that's going to take you there. What does that process look like? What's kind
Okay,
of the
so,
first step?
so one of
Let's help people take that first step. So
yeah,
they've got this retirement, they've got this time on their hands, they've got some dreams, they've got their bucket list, but they wake up every day and just like turn on the TV or hop on social media. So that they're not moving forward day by day. Help them out.
right. Okay, so that was one of my values, was to live out my days where I could hear the Lord say to me, well done. I wanted that. And so
Amen.
I started working backwards from there.
Uh,
If that was the goal,
Nice.
then I'm working backwards. So the first thing was I put together, and the Wheel of Life in the book is a coaching tool. Okay, I'm a coach, and so I wrote the book from a coaching perspective. And I put together the Wheel of Life, and it's meant not to have a perfect 10 life, but to just look at your life and ask yourself some very, very important questions. What matters to me right now? What is important to me right now? Who do I want to be? Who do I need to love? What does this look like? And again, like Donna, you said, it's a daily process. And so after I determine by the wheel, I
So what are
plotted.
some of those areas people may not know? So it's like your personal relationships, your health, your walk with God.
Right.
What are some?
Spiritual relationships, physical, intellectual, self-care. Self-care is another big one.
And
And
intellectual too, trying to stay mentally sharp.
right. And it's
Hey,
basically,
I've decided I'm going to get a master's degree. you know, and I'll probably start at 61 with all the COVID delays. I'm going to be 61 years old starting a master's degree because for me, I want to stay mentally sharp. So that's like something that I'm putting into my 9 to 5. You know, I wake up and one of the first things I do, obviously, read my Bible, and then I'm studying for my master's degree. And so everybody is going to be different, but they can look at these different areas of their life and say, what matters to me maybe in the next 90 days? So in the next 90 days, I want to focus on, you know, stimulating my mind to something other than, you know, political nonsense and insanity. You know, maybe
Right.
I want to spend some time, maybe I want to learn French. Maybe I want to download, memorize. I did that too. You inspired me. So, you know, maybe I want to study French for the next 90 days, or, you know, just look, maybe I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 90 days, but kind of having a plan of what you're going to do each day to get there. Am I kind of,
Yes,
did
yeah, because
I do my homework good?
yeah, because I think that we all know what we do too much of. We all know, no one has to tell us we need to back off of something because we are allowing that to distract us. But I think it's that is the core, is where am I spending my time now, and what do I need to change about that, if there's anything that I need to change about that. Like for you, you wanted to develop intellectually. For me, I wanted to it was my physical health. I had surgery on my foot, and I was having all kinds of issues. And so for me, it was putting things in place, like walking the greenway, like exercise, getting my physical health to where I wanted it, so that I had the vitality and I had the strength to do those other things. So I think all of us know what we're doing too much of, but we need to look at what we need to do more of in
And the
our
book
lives.
walks you through that. I should probably share some of the chapters. And again, guys, you can all breathe a sigh of relief. Nothing for sale today. This is available free if you're joining us live on April 29th and 30th of 2021. You may be catching the replay. You can still, I'm sure, get a good deal on Kindle. But it is available free today. You can go to afterthe9to5.tv. Is that right? Afterthe9to5.tv. And that's where you'll see all of Linda's resources. The book, you can get the Kindle free on Amazon today. That's where you'll find out about the Facebook community that she's building for those who are heading towards or in that new 9 to 5, those retirement years. She's also going to be sharing, I'll talk more about it later. She's doing a free online experience for 3 days. I'm hoping she's going to run with one of my dreams, which is the Believer's Bucket List Club post-COVID, and we're all going to go to Morocco. But you can go to afterthe9to5.tv. It's the digit 9 and the digit 5. The rest should be fairly obvious. Or you can go to donnaparteau.com/925. It's the digit 9, the word 2, and the digit 5. donnaparteau.com/925. And that will take you right to the place on Amazon where you can get the book. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful book. You can get the Kindle version today for free. And the paperback is well worth having. It's absolutely beautiful. Lots of questions for reflection. I was just going to share a little bit. You should be holding, you match it. You should be holding up. Where's your copy?
I know I should be.
So you talk about some, well, I have not trained you well to sell your book, girl. Areas that she starts with the area of giving back. Is there an area where, yeah, now you've got more time on your hands? How do you want to get back? I remember my dad and his best friend volunteered for Meals on Wheels. That was their thing, you know? And I think at least once a week they'd go do Meals on Wheels. My dad got his first library card in his 60s. So he wanted to grow, he wanted to do some reading, giving back, spiritual growth, emotional well-being, physical health, intellectual growth, relationships, recreation and hobbies when they let us back out of the house, and self-care. So what Linda does, and I'll let her talk more about it, is she walks you through a process of you get to decide which of those areas are most important for you, and maybe take 90 days, right? And they can get free copies of all these forms as well. And after the 9to5.tv, and just pick which one you want to focus on for the next 90 days and plan that out, what that looks like. And then at the end of those 90 days, you could rinse and repeat. Am I doing a good job of describing that?
Yes, yes. So that's what I was saying a minute ago. You determine where you are really satisfied in your life and where you're not so satisfied by the wheel. And once you plot the points on the wheel, you decide what do you want to work on first, and then you put those ideas on a vision board. And I have the template for the vision board. You can even take it a step further, and you can design your own vision board, and you can pray over it. You can read affirmations over it. That's what I did. And visualize and imagine yourself doing these things. So from there, you take all of your action steps and you put them on the template, and you start really being intentional about doing those things. And then when you're done, you see results. Like, one of the things that I did was I wanted to eliminate a lot of screen time, at least an hour
Amen.
a day of screen time.
Me too.
And when I did that, I was able to read more, and I read more chapters in the Bible. And
Amen.
so, it's, again, looking at where you are really satisfied in your life, and then where you want to make changes.
And it's going to be different for everybody. But I do think that this is definitely a tool. It's a book. I encourage everyone to sit, and you can read it through fast. She's a great writer. Linda is an excellent writer, and this is going to be a whole new chapter for her. Is becoming, growing as a writer. So maybe just read it through once, kind of get the lay of the land, and kind of think about, okay, what do I, yeah, my time is mine. Where do I want to focus? And then go back and actually fill in the questions, do the exercises. And you're going to do a free 3-day
Yes.
online experience where you kind of do that and help people. And for those of us joining live, you can share those dates. And for those who are watching this replay, you're going to have that on your Facebook group. So it will always be available. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the 3-day experience, and how you're going to kind of help people through this process, because you're a coach, right?
Yes. Yes. So what I'm going to do, the title is You Reimagined.
Amen. I got to reimagine me. I'm doing it.
Yes.
Woo!
So reimagine your life.
I like it.
And so it's going to be an online, like, total immersion in the process. It's a very simple, straightforward process, but it does require you to invest yourself. And I think that's another huge piece to this, is we have to be able to continually invest in ourselves. And that's where we find growth. So investing in an hour on May 5, 6, and 7 will be like personal coaching. It's completely free. But you'll come into the group, and we will talk about this 3-step process, and actually how to implement it, how to use it. It's very practical, it's very user friendly, but I'll guide you through
I
that.
like it. I think it's going to be great. I like that you reimagined. And I think that that's what's so exciting, is that we can reimagine, we can reinvent ourselves. And I am such a huge believer in vision boards. Um,
Yes.
I encourage people each year to create a new vision board. And I was a couple of years ago, I was with my best friend in Arizona, one of my best friends, Rennie Ling, and we walked to Michael's. We got these glittery boards and all this crazy stuff. And then we went to all these dental and doctor offices and asked them for old magazines and cut out pictures. And one of mine was a picture of books flying in the air. That's on my vision board. Linda, every day I would pray over that vision board. I never dreamed. I thought that was my books taking off. I mean, I've already sold 1.5 million books. I don't really have anything else to say. My agent is like, "Are you going to write another book? You should write another book." I'm like, "I don't know anything else. I'm going to done." But every day I'd be praying over this vision board, and I just knew, books into the air, like launching them into the air. And then God led me. He's like, "Why don't you help other people launch their books in
Wow.
the world?" And that's what I love about a vision board. And that's one of the things you encourage is just, let yourself dream, do the process, give it to God, pray over it, and he'll surprise you. It may not even look, I was thinking, "Okay, God, do I want to, I don't know, sell more books?" It's like, okay. And God's like, "No, I've got something more fun, more meaningful. I'm doing a new thing." I'll give you another example, and then I'll throw it back to you, but I'm excited. As you can tell, I love vision
You're
boards.
fine.
Sorry. I
No,
love
you're
vision
good.
boards. It's so powerful. It's the kind of thing where people are like, "Oh yeah, blah, 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 blah." But it's so worth doing. One of my other pictures, and I only have like, I think 5 pictures. One of the others is a picture of a monastery. And I could have been like, "God, I want to go to a monastery." But I just prayed over it. I'm like, it's the spiritual places. Really want to go to spiritual places. And I'll make it short. God opened the door post COVID. I'm actually moving to Jerusalem.
Mm.
I mean, talk about a monastery, talk about spiritual pilgrimages to spiritual places. I'm going to be living a spiritual pilgrimage. I'm going to be living in one giant monastery and spiritual place. So, when you dream with God, and that's why I want everyone go through this process. Guys, it's free. There's no catch, no kidding. Just not selling anything. It's for free. It's a gift. Sign up for it. You can go to afterthe9to5.tv, afterthe9to5.tv, and you'll see a link to join her Facebook group and do this free 3-day You Reimagined online experience and do the vision board. I would walk to the nearest Michael's and get an old school, if you want, poster board, and really let your heart dream with God. I love this, Linda, because I've lived it and I believe in it. I know what you would share. It was like 1 year from when you retired and had this vision to accomplishing something very big. Tell us about that.
Yes. Yeah. So I had, and that's what I love to journal. This is another piece too, that's I think is really, really important, because when you journal, you are journaling without editing. You're journaling the real you. The real
Amen.
you is coming out on the pages.
Mm.
And then fast forward a year and you can go back and you can read what you wrote a year ago, and it's phenomenal. You really begin to see growth. When you're in it, you don't always see it, but you can see the growth. And that's what happened to me. I started last year at this time last year.
You had just retired, right?
Yeah, just retired, and I'm writing things in my journal like, "Oh no, what am I going to do with this?" And it's a lot of lamenting. Okay.
Lamentations before the praise. Amen.
Right. And now fast forward, here I am on a Zoom call. I have a published book. I have a coaching business. I have an online swag store. I mean, it's like phenomenal. And one of the things that I've said to you, Donna, is everything that I've written in that book, I've been challenged. Get out of your comfort zone, move out of your fear, move into even if you're scared, even if you don't know what to do, just start taking a step. And that's what the 3-day experience will be too.
Mhm.
It
And
will
so you
help you.
said you want to write a book, and 1 year later, it
Yes,
went from leaving your job to, like your dad said, to put some determination in there. You worked hard, really hard,
I worked really
very
hard.
hard. And a year later, you've got a book. I remember when I broke the news to you, Linda. Remember when I told you, "Oh, that's great. You put words on a page. That's not writing a book yet."
Ouch.
So if you could give like one piece of advice. So here's this person, they're tuning in, they're like, yes, I want the rest of my years to be the best of my years. I don't want to be that person. And I'm going to tell a true story. I had someone that I went to visit who's in a nursing home. And I said, I'm getting you out of here for the day. Let's get out of here. Where do you want to go? And they said, I want to go to my old high school and I want to go look at the football field because that was like the high point of my life. And we went and got ice cream cones. And the person, they're in a wheelchair, so they can't really walk. But I was, they put them in my car and I drove them around and they wanted to go to the high school. And they wanted to sit there and have an ice cream cone from their favorite, place that they would go after the games and sit there and look at that football field because that was the high water mark of their life. And I thought, wow, wow. And I just want to challenge everybody. If you know Jesus, the best is not behind you. No, the high water mark is not behind you. God still has amazing things that he wants to do in and through your life. We're talking about retirement, but there's really, it doesn't say that word. It doesn't say that anywhere here because
No.
it's not in the Bible either. The best days of your life. That's what it says. How to enjoy the best days of your life, the best years of your life. If you know God, if you love God and are called according to his purpose. The devil is lying. If he is telling you that you're done, you're finished, the best is behind you, he's a liar. Don't believe him. The best is yet to come. So, Linda, to that person who's like, you're right, the devil's been lying to me. And they want what we're talking about. They want the rest of their years to be the best of their years. What's the number one piece of advice that you would give them?
Well, I was on an online group of cool retired women, and someone came in that was a younger individual and said, okay, I want to poll this group because looking back, what would you do differently? And so I wrote risk more. I wrote take risk, color outside the lines, invest in yourself.
Amen.
Don't be afraid to step out on something that you want in your heart. So that's what I would say is really, really think about what you want. And again, if you need help in clarifying that, I'm here to help you clarify that, because I think oftentimes we don't really know what we want unless we begin to unearth the desires in our heart.
It's true. Yeah, and give something a try. I love that. In fact, you share in this book, it's a free, guys, this is available free on Amazon Kindle, After the 9 to 5, how to enjoy the best days of your life, the best of your years. The rest of your years will be the best of your years. And you can go to afterthe9to5.tv, and that's where you'll find all the information about what Linda has to offer, about her book, her free, I guess you call it your toolkit, After the 9 to 5 toolkit is really cool. Your swag store, your free You Reimagined 3-day online experience, and so much more. So I hope they'll go there and they'll avail themselves of all of these wonderful, wonderful resources. And I think we've kind of talked about people who don't take this step, who choose not to be intentional. The rest of your years, I don't know. You know me, I'm from New Jersey. I'm kind of blunt. I would say this doesn't happen by default. It happens by design. And I wanted to say that one of the stats you share in here is that they surveyed people over the age of 80, 90, and said, if you could do it all over again, what would you do differently? It was kind of an open-ended question, and they were amazed the consistency of the answers. People said they would risk more they would reflect more, and they would do more significant things. And that's exactly what this book is designed to help you do. It's designed to help you reflect more. She kind of puts that first. At the end of each chapter, there's reflection. And she even puts them there, reflective questions. They would reflect more. Who was it who said, was it Socrates who said the unreflected life is not worth living? Some smart person said that. So reflecting more. And then when you reflect and look in your heart, say, you know what? God loves me. You know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to risk it. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do an online experience. I'm going to have a swag store. If God is for me, who can be against me? I don't care. I'm going to go for it. And I think it's that place of security where, like, you know God loves you. And that's why you start with that every morning, that God time, that sacred space. That gives you the courage to risk and to say, I'm going to Morocco. I'm moving to Israel. I don't know. I'm starting a new coaching business. I'm retired. I don't care. I'm going great. You look great. I love it on you. And then you look gorgeous.
I do 9 to 5.
I love it. And then, it's his styling. And then do more significant things. Those significant things, that's not going to happen by accident. You're not going to just be like playing Candy Crush and, watching Netflix and somehow something significant is going to happen. You're going to have to, kind of make, and again, we're not trying to give you a new job, because it's a new way to enjoy. No new job. It's a new way to enjoy and love every day of the rest of your life. What else do you want to add? Anything else for coming to the top of the hour?
No. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's commenting and all the encouraging words, and sign up for the 3-day experience. I really want to hear from you too. I used to, when I go in the classroom, I would tell the kids, teenagers, I'm going to learn more from you than you are from me. I know I will. And that's what I feel here is I'm going to learn from you as well. So sign up for the event May 5th, 6th, and 7th, and let's get a group of savvy-minded, like-minded people together who can really move the needle forward and encourage each other and support each other.
And we're looking for that tribe. I know you and I love you, and I know that you and I are going to partner together on some things. I just got actually chills just saying that. I know we are.
Me too. I know that too.
Love you. You have just been pure joy, like to work with. It just I loved. I'm actually going to be going through withdrawal and missing working with you because I've just enjoyed it so much. But I want everyone to really. Are you unmuted? Tamara's coming back to share some questions and comments with us. But I want everyone to go to afterthe9to5.tv, afterthe9to5.tv. That's where you'll get the link to go get the book. The Kindle version is free today and tomorrow, the 29th and 30th. You can always get the Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can always get it free. You can get the paperback. You can see the swag store. You can find out about her free Reimagined 3-day online experience, swag store, so much else. Tamara, why don't you share with us some of the questions and comments that are coming in?
Great. Yeah. So Karen Barnes, first of all, said thank you. She's really enjoyed this and had a question. How do they prepare for the 3-day event? Are you going to be putting some more stuff on your Facebook group to help people prepare?
Yes, I will be. And so sign up for the After the 9 to 5 Facebook group, and there will be some things leading up to it. Yeah, that's a great question. And I will be in touch with you.
Yeah, and definitely get a copy. Make sure you've got a copy of the book. And I forgot to mention this. If you get the paperback, again, the Kindle version is free. If you buy the paperback, which I highly recommend because there's you need to write in it and do the reflection exercises. If you post a picture of your fabulous face holding up the paperback copy, you can be entered to win a grand prize drawing. Isn't it like $150 worth of
$150 from the swag store.
Hey, get your swag on to remind you every day that the best of your years are ahead of you. Anything else, Tamara?
Well, what age is this for? Like, should someone that is already retired do this, or at what should a 20-year-old start planning now? Somebody asked that question, so maybe they're younger and want to know if it's for them.
Okay. You know, I love working with millennials. I have a few clients that right now are who are millennials. So jump in, because one of the millennials that I'm working with, she has changed careers. She realized that she didn't really necessarily feel fulfilled where she was. And so she's changed an entirely different career. So I think you can jump in any place and get something. You know, again, my 92-year-old dad read the book. He said he couldn't put it down. So I think all the way from, you know, millennial age to 92, proven.
And of course, it's anyone who has, you know, can control their own 9 to 5 schedule. It's really for someone who doesn't have someone else saying, okay, this is what you need to do, starting from 9 to 5, when you check in to when you check out. We're in charge of your day. If your days are your own and you have time freedom,
That's a
then I
good
think
point.
this is a really good book for you to make some proactive decisions about what you want to do with your time. Great. Any other great questions or comments?
Mimi Kruger says, they shall still bear fruit in old age, they shall be fresh and flourishing, Psalms 92:14. And I love that.
I'm feeling kind of fresh. I got my flower.
I know.
Woohoo!
You both are looking fresh. Lots of positive thank yous, and you both did a wonderful job. And thank you, Linda, for your heart to write this book. I was inspired. I know everybody here probably feels the same. So thank you both.
Thank you very much.
Is there anything else, Donna? I'm going to sign off. Thank you.
Okay, great. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today for this very special event. The rest of your years can be the best of your years. That's not just a title that I made up. That's something that I absolutely believe that I'm living myself. And I believe that God has for every one of us as God's children. Do by all means get a copy, available free, donnaparteau.com/925, or after the 9to5.tv. Either one of those links will take you to how you can go onto Amazon, get the Kindle version. It's free. If you want the paperback, post your picture with the paperback copy and enter the grand prize drawing to win $150 worth of swag from Linda. She's been a wonderful client of mine for the book launch, and she did a beautiful, beautiful job. It's brilliantly written, and I know that you're going to love it. Linda, thanks so much for being with us today. And I look forward. I'm going to be checking out that You Reimagined 3-day online experience myself. God bless you, everybody.
God bless you.